Okay, hey guys, so I just thought I would show you something I had not thought much about. I've scanned through this, so I'll show you here at the top. I had zoomed out earlier. Okay, what do we have to click? There we go. It's the January 1984 Ensign article, so it's low resolution, but I guess they just scanned the photos from that magazine, so they're like, this is really, really blurry. This is where I found the vest, and then I did go in person and take my own photos, so I got permission to use my own photography for my website. And this is where you do see that this is a pop-down collar. So that's the back part, this is the front. So clearly this is too small for Joseph Smith's neck, so he's going to put a scarf around this, and it's got that flattened shaped even. It wouldn't have this if this was a popped up collar. Like, this would just be flat, it would be popped up. It's a pop-down collar. And then you can, my internet's freaking out today and I don't know why. But this is that vest, my own photography zoomed up. You can see the blue and black, and then there's white string. I don't know if it's just blue and black stripes, but this is zoomed up. But zoomed up close, you can see it's brocade, so it means that there's stripes. I mean, there's a design of the fabric, and then there's stitching on top of it that makes it brocade. So it's got an interesting design. It's heavily damaged, but looking at here, you can see it's striped, and then there's flowers, and there's swirls. There are sort of a snake thing. See, there's a swirl. So I'm seeing a little bit of an extra design on top of this striped vest. And then what else am I seeing? Something that I was looking at through here. I decided to look at my picture, which was this. I'm like, I mean, it's just, I don't know what this is, right? And then I read it. It's a redstone watch fob. And so you can sort of see, and it's not very big. It's 2 inches by 1 inch. An inch by 2, 1.5 inches by 2. So it's almost 2 by 2. But, there's that. So basically the chain, there'd be a long chain. One end would be the watch. It would go in their pocket. And the other end of the chain would be the watch fob. I researched that last night. And then if you go here, you can see sort of how men would wear that, a watch fob. Have I looked into this before? This is such a good quality version. I'm just starting to look for more detail here. That's a really good detailed, either tin or daguerreotype. I'm not sure which one that is. Not sure if it's really a daguerreotype, but that's Joseph Smith III. But we've got pictures of from the 1840s, I believe 1845, because this is Lucien Foster took single photos of Wilford and Phoebe. And so you can see the cases are quite similar. Got sort of that design, and that looks like similar plate. And then that would explain the side lighting, because that is glowing. That's got to be a lamp. There's light right there. There's a table. Something is glowing on the table. It's got to be a gas lamp. So then that is creating, boom, light, dark on the face. And there's also light coming up. So is it a very tall, or is there also light coming from a window? He probably couldn't afford a studio yet. And I doubt, could he afford a light going to the ceiling? I don't know. And anyway, the reason I'm pulling this up is because you can see this is his watch. This is his chain. And I wondered, I kept seeing chains and things like on Eliza or Snow. I'm like, what is that? And then I researched and found it was the watch Joseph gave to Eliza or Snow that she would wear in every picture. you'd see a long chain going down, and then you could see the watch in her pocket. And then the other end would be the watch fob, so it'd be up higher, but he's got it tucked in. So one end would be the watch fob, the other end would be the watch. But if it's a beautiful watch fob, I don't know if there was a way. I mean, as you look at this, so I was looking at my picture, and I assumed, I just don't know, it's hard to know what you're seeing, right? Something's reflecting light right there. There's light. This is definitely reflecting light. That is blown out. This part of the collar is blown out. So like you can't tell. Obviously this part of the collar is not that much bigger than this, right? It's blown out from the light. So it's hard to tell what's going on in some parts, if anything is shiny. But I started looking at this. I'm like, this does look somewhat rectangular. I mean, this a little bit. I thought that was at 100%. Oh, it's at 80% opacity. Oops. Okay. So then you can kind of see. Maybe it is a rectangular object like this, and maybe that is light reflecting off of it, because now that I look at it, you see an object, there's something reflecting. Maybe it is something. Maybe there was a pretty stone and he wanted to display it on the vest, and then maybe a chain. Maybe the chain goes in there, went into a pocket. Is there a pocket in the vest? I don't think I saw a pocket in the vest. But these are some of the best photos. So here is the watch fob. So it's courtesy of Buddy Youngreen. So I guess he just owns this. I don't see a pocket. So, I mean, I'm sure there's a pocket in his jacket. But this is the whole picture. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. But this is just kind of a cool, interesting thing to kind of wonder about, right? It's not hard evidence, but this possibly is a rectangular object like this that I just kind of swung it around. If I bring it back down to 50%, you can kind of see. Now looking at it, it might be like a rectangular object, and it has a hole there, so maybe a pin or something could have gone in there, and maybe it would have been strong enough to hold a chain that would then go down, and his watch would, because he gave every plural wife a gold watch, as far as I know. He liked buying gold watches and giving people gold watches. He bought and gave away a lot of them. And so then people knew he loved watches. So, he has this nice fob. I'll turn that all the way up really bright there. But it's clearly reflecting some light. Could this be a Joseph Smith's watch fob? I can just zoom in and try to look. The more I look at it now, I'm like, this does look like maybe it is a totally separate object. But I thought this is still too ambiguous to be anything hard. I think this is possibly a flower. It looks really soft like, and I did research and find men did wear carnations back then, and I think this could be a blown out pin, and then maybe a tie pin right there. So you're like, how many objects? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly. Definitely these are two, but these are things the guy Gregory thought were the Urim and Thummim. Like glowing orbs, I don't know. So, but I think they're actual objects. There could be a stone watch fob. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that much. I can try to research more while I'm making this video. But I did research watch fobs. Again, it's not very big. They measured it. It's 2 inches by 1.5 inches. And we can just look up. Trying to imagine what that would be the length of on a human face. I don't know. It's just really interesting. Yeah. So here's this kind of sized up to this rectangular size that this possibly is reflecting some light, as this is reflecting light. That's white, so it's reflecting light big time. And then if we sized it to that, could this then be at 2 inches? I think so, measuring on my nose, like 1 inch, 2 inch. Look at his nose. Of course, he had a pretty big nose, but it wouldn't be my whole ear. It's not his whole ear. So it's still quite small. Yeah. As we're comparing it to like the nose, ears, we just can kind of yeah, so your nose is longer than 2 inches, right? But how long is a nose? I'll probably find something weird. I should just end this video. 2.2 inches long. The average length of the nose of an adult is 2.2 inches long. Okay. But he had a pretty big nose, so what are they measuring at right there? So the average nose is 2 inches long. Are we measuring from this point? Then that would be about right. Oops. Undo that. I already sized it to the, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, that could be right at 2 inches. So average nose is over 2 inches. This is smaller than his nose. Let me bring it down here. Bring opacity down, and you can just grab this tool and kind of twist it around a little bit. I don't know. That's kind of fun. It's just obviously. So somebody out there, I think, has this daguerreotype. I would bet it's almost turned completely black and it's oxidized, because that's what happened to Emma's daguerreotype by Lucian Foster. It turned black because her copy, again, just explain this again. But this oval, if you look at the actual daguerreotype, which I didn't put on my website, I didn't want to try to even get permission to do that. But this oval like that, you can see beyond it. So when they took this in the 1860s, it's an 1860s carte de visite. You can just look at the front of my page to see the paper. It looks like I did a side-by-side of the whole carte de visite and the whole carte de visite of this picture from the 1860s. And so that's what gave me hope, that so even though this is from the 1860s, it could still be a copy of a daguerreotype. And then Japanagawa and Weaver, it's like they did that a lot. There's every indication your picture does not look like, look at the main page, doesn't look like J.S. Bibbin's photography at all. And he's like, this would be like the worst photographer ever. And we looked, he's like, this isn't List. We didn't think that this was Bibbin's work right here. So it's a copy of somebody else's work, which has every indication it's an oval. It's the same oval shape as these. So they went ahead and cut it like that. Is basically the same cut as this, right? So they wanted to, maybe it was already oxidizing. I don't know, but this looks like a straight line. That looks like a straight line. Uneven, short background, textured background. The background's catching a little bit of light. Looks a little bit of a sheen in both of these. Is that Joseph? Is that Emma? I think so. He does look older than most people think, but he doesn't look as old as that Lockett photo. Yeah, that guy looks way old. It looks like mid-40s, so not 30s. I don't think so. But she was 40 when she got this picture taken. She was 40 years old, and she was probably, I think like 38, 37 when her painting was done. Anyway, could this be this watch fob? I wonder. I don't know. Maybe they could have pinned part of the watch fob up there. It would be kind of different. It does look like a lot of times the chains are going around here, and it's hard to see a lot of what's going on. If I had the original daguerreotype, that would be great. I think there's many copies of this photo that I own out there somewhere. So, don't know. It's kind of cool, you guys, but it's just fun. Have a good day.